Hi there, everybody. It's a snowy morning. Yes, it is. So, we're going to do our mobility work. And one of the things that I start with, or that, I mean, you don't have to start with it, but of course, walking around barefooted is a great thing to do if you have floors that are conducive to that. And as you're walking, you get a full heel toe walk like that. The other thing I suggest is find a door frame so your hands won't slip. I'm going to use this as a door. See, this thing's not moving. It's a high, this is a working space that I have. And I can walk on a treadmill or just stand and work on my computer. So this is things that's not going to move. And so whenever I go into this kind of a move, this is what I'm talking about, an immovable space. If you don't have that, of course, you can go to your trusty chair. You're just not going to get the pullback that I would like for you to get. So if you can grab something and just do a wide hip press back. See what I'm doing? I'm going to tuck my chin and I'm hanging on right here, hanging on, and I'm just pulling back. Now I can hang both hands onto this pole that's not moving. And a lot of times you have a pole in your basement. Those of us with basements, if you're in California, you may not, or Tennessee, you may not have a basement. And you press back, and at first you press back gently. You let your shoulders come way up. You drop your chin and you dig into your heels a little. So see, I'm wide. As I start to go down, I don't round my back on the get-go. I press my hips back and I just press into the heels. And then I rotate from a rounded back to a very flat back. A rounded back to a flat back. A rounded back, I just do it about 3 or 4 times, to a flat back. And as I go down into that and I come up, I dig into my heels and I come up and I come up and I come up. And then I press in just like that. And you can go back into that and do it as many times as you want to. This is a great move for shoulders, for your back, for your lower back, for your hips, for your legs. Because once I've done that 3 or 4 times, then you see I'm going to straighten my legs. And I'm going to pull my toes up. Then I'm going to go back into that. And all the time I'm doing this, see my shoulders are really pulling out of, you almost like, I don't want to say pulling it out of socket, but you're really reaching with your shoulders. Once I've done that a couple of times, then I go ahead and straighten my legs and I pull those toes up. And then I go back into it and come back up. And seriously, if you spend just a few seconds, even up to a minute or so, doing that kind of a thing, oh my goodness, it makes such a big difference all the way up. Okay, so here I am in my little chair. Okay, step back, step forward, touch the knee. See, don't worry about what you're doing down here. You approach your chair just like this. You pick one leg, I don't care which. Step forward, step back. And then you just rotate that knee to the chair. See that? See that little rotation right there? So this is part of our big move warm-ups, okay? We just did a big one there at your door or at your countertop. You see what I'm doing? I'm going from a straight leg in the front to tapping the front of the chair, right there. The back leg, the heel is down. And I rotate that front foot back and forth. And if you want to bend your knee a tiny bit in the back, that's fine. But as you rotate, you keep your chin tucked and you try really hard to not take your shoulders too far away from your wrist. They'll go back a little bit, but I could swing them back a lot more if I wanted to, but that's not the move that I'm trying to elicit from you. Okay, take a breath. I'm going to do 2 more of these. See this? This is very important for that front leg, for your ankle, to really stretch through the back of the leg. Then you bend it and you come right into it. Okay, just like that. Keep the back heel down. Now, I'm going to bring that leg back and I'm going to come up and I'm going to take a little inner set right now. I'm going to put my hands right here. We've done this many times, but as we go into this move, don't tighten your butt. Number 1, don't bring your shoulders up. Number 2, soften the knees, put the heel of the hand right there in the very lower small of the back, and then you bend your knees and you pull forward, or I guess you would push forward. Drop your shoulders and then come out of that. See, I'm going to go right back into it. So I'm going to just really soften my knees, drop my shoulders, take a big breath. Into the nose, drop those shoulders, and then come back out of it. Do it one more time, just 3 times. Here we go. Soften the knees, drop the shoulders, don't tighten up through the butt, and then come back. Now we're going to go back into the chair. So I'm going to step forward with my other leg. Step back. I've got the heel of the hand on the chair. You could have your gloves on here. That might help give you some support. Okay, so I'm going to keep my chin tucked, number 1. And do you see this rocking and rolling that I'm doing? Okay, this is ankle and foot, big time. And then you'll feel it coming up through that hamstring, through the calf. And after you've done it a few times with your legs straight in the back, then you might want to bend your knee just a little bit. See the rocking and rolling? I'm bringing that toe up. I'm lowering myself a little bit. Bend. Now bend the back knee a tiny bit. And why do I say a tiny bit? Because I don't necessarily want your heel to come up too far. I just want to bend the knee a little bit and then straighten it so that I get into the deeper muscle in the calf, okay, the soleus. So I got to bend my knee in order to do that. And then as I come back and I roll my foot up, I drop down. That's when you're going to feel that stretch coming through the front of the leg right there. Take a big breath. Rock and roll a couple of times. Rock and roll a couple of times. Rock and roll a couple of times. Yeah, then you step up and step up. Take those hands as if you had weights in your hands. Just pretend it. Put them right here. Then all I want you to visualize is, as you're standing here with your knees soft, I want you to think that you have weights. I don't want to see your hips move at all. I want to just let that weight pull you down here until you feel a little stretches. Yeah, it's not going to be very far, and then you come up. So how do you come up? You contract right here, and it pulls you up. If I see you swing your hips, see, then I know you've taken that very important core musculature out of the equation. If I see you doing this in order to drop, keep these still, soften up your knees, drop your shoulders, big breath, and pretend you have weights and they're pulling you down and you're bending at the waist. Yeah, just like that. It's pulling you right down. But you see, my hips are not displaced. Okay? So I don't know how hard or easy. Sometimes it's very hard for people to get a hold of this particular move because they're so used to swinging their hips in order to go down here. Okay? So these core muscles, there's a one or two that's responsible for this type of a side bend. Pretend you have a weight and it's pulling you down, not using a weight for a reason. Number one, don't lock your knees. Okay? Drop your shoulders. Let, almost like your armpit is just dropping straight down. See that? After you get down there and you hang on to it for a second, and then you contract to get yourself back up here, you're going to start feeling it in through your deep core muscles, your back extensors, a little comes into play here. And then I can just really rotate from side to side. So if many of you who get hung up on some back tightness, this move is kind of an important move to kind of get a hold of. Okay, keep your shoulders down, then you can rotate. So just pretend you're letting your armpit just drop straight down. Don't displace the hips, and then come back. Once you've done that now, I'm going to have my chair right here. I'm going to step forward. We've done this kind of a move many times. We've done it with weights, etc. This time we're gonna go down a little bit. So let me turn to the side here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I got my chair here. If I can do this on the wall to hang on to, or the chair. And see, I'm just gonna take with my bare feet and I'm gonna correct the back foot. That's number one. Then I'm gonna say rib cage up. Okay. So I'm sneaking this little toe out here. I have the chair here if I need it. See, put it right like that. So press down. So instead of grabbing, open your hand and just push down. Now straighten that back leg so that you're not out like this. Okay, we'll do that in a minute, but not right now. So now we're in a split stance. And what am I going to do? Okay, with anybody that's out there with issues with feet, plantar fasciitis specifically, okay, and here's the thing of it is I'm barefooted, okay, so I got to be careful. See, okay, am I going to slip? Am I going to slip forward? So you need to keep your feet under you, so to speak, so that you're not going to slip. Drop your shoulders, push down here if you need it, and then you see this back foot. So I started this kind of a move in the move before this, yeah, by going into the ball of the foot and then pressing back into the heel. So I'm going to do that a couple of times, and then I'm going to slip the front foot out a little bit, and I'm going to come down just a little more, just a little more. I'm going to take the back foot back. I am not going to bend. I'm going to go down here as far as I feel I can, and then I'm going to press myself back and put that heel down. So this is a huge mobility move. Yes, you can feel stretches. However, it is a big mobility move to be able to come from standing to knee down and then get back up. Oh my goodness. Use this with both hands if you need to, but if you do this, don't displace that hip. Keep the hips right above your legs, okay? Because yeah, I'm going to come and I'm going to come up from this move. I want you to try it, but you could have a wall here and a chair here and press. You could have a pole, or you can put both hands here, which is fine. You're going to press into the toes first, press into the toes, come up until you can achieve a standing position. See that? Take a big deep breath. I'm really wide here, okay? I could go back down or I could come up, okay? So this is a big move. This is my hip replace side. This is the side of the hip that's kind of talking to me. So this is a great mobility move to push both of those without injury, okay? And how many times do you do this? You quit doing it because you're scared. You're like, oh, I can never get back up. I'm trying to show you how to really have better mobility. I got you warmed up with some big moves, right? I started this foot rotation at the chair, at the runner stretch, correct? Now I'm gonna act like I'm pressing you right here. Now this hip is opening. I got my foot right here straight forward, my foot back here straight forward. Then I'm gonna start slipping the toe out if I need to, putting my hand on the chair if I need it. Then I'm gonna start scooting that foot back. Then I'm gonna rotate my knee in the back and then come back. I'm not gonna go all the way down, not right now. So again, I'm gonna press you here because some of you are doing this. I know you are. How do I know? Because that's what slugs do. Don't be a slug right now. I really want you to get the benefit of this. So here I am in a split stance, staying upright, bend the back knee, rotate it, go as far as you feel you can, and then come back until you start to think, oh, I'm gonna get stuck. See what I mean? Big breath, here we go. Bend the knee in the back, use the chair, whatever level you need, scoot the toe out as you're coming down. See, I'm scooting my toe out and I'm coming down. Yeah, just try it little by little, okay? So once I'm down there, I'm gonna say rib cage up. I'm gonna feel stretches. I especially feel stretch in this quadricep because this is my knee replace side. It doesn't hurt my knee. If it makes your knee uncomfortable, then of course put your little gardening pad or your little balance pad under your knee. That's fine. So here I am. Take a big breath. I'm going to press. I'm going to bring the knee up. See that? Go back down. Drop your shoulders. Press. Bring the knee up. Then you get it under you. See that? And you're up. I know we're going to revisit this. Come back in. It's your favorite. That's why. I know it's your favorite. Okay. Take a big breath again. Bring that leg out to the side. Bring it in. Okay. So this is going to kind of reset. Now, while we're doing this, we're going to reset shoulders. So I'm going to push my hands out. My palms are down. I don't have my hands up here. I don't have them down here unless I have a shoulder issue. Okay, if I have a shoulder issue, I need to go a little lower. If I can come out at shoulder height, then that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to step to the side and I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to do multiples of these while I'm doing simple shoulder circles. And you may see my hands doing the circle. However, the move is coming from the shoulder. Yes, it's coming from that whole shoulder girdle. While I'm doing this move, I'm just gonna slide to the side. Yeah, so I'm doing rotational moves, but I'm also going into the frontal plane move. Big breath through the nose. Don't go any faster. I know it. You want to go fast, fast, fast and get done with it, but that's not what I want you to do. Okay, push. Here we go. Push. Here we go. Push to the side. Here we go. push to the side. Here we go. So as you step, you want to step to the side and slide with your knees soft. Okay, take a big breath. Yeah, I know, we're doing several. I'm thinking that's probably, we'll say 20.
40.
Oh, shoot. She's paying attention. Darn it. Okay, bring your hands down. She said 40. I don't know if I believe you, Kathy. Anyway, I'll believe you. I have to put her on the payroll one of these days. Here we go. See this? I'm recovering. I'm not going to go right into the same move. No, I'm going to recover a little bit. Then I'm going to turn my thumbs up. Okay? I'm going to go out. See that? I'm just going to press them back gently. It's not a big push. It's a little pulse. See, when you do a pulse, that is very different than a bounce. A bounce is pretty out of control. But when you pulse, you push back on purpose. Okay, pulse. It's a purposeful move. It's not a slingy move. That's generally what we do when we bounce. That's what can set up rips, tears, injuries. See that? See that? See that? Then I put my hands down, shake out, shake out, shake out. Now I'm going to go front to back, and I'm going to take and bring my hands up. Now I'm pointing back with my thumb. Then I'm going to bring this leg up. I'm doing this all barefooted. So here's the thing. If it's all you can take as far as attention, paying attention to your arm moves, just do the attention to the arm move. Don't even worry about stepping forward and sliding back. Don't even worry about it. Okay? Number one, don't go up high. See this move? The move is coming from where? Shoulders. So don't think that you're gonna use your hands. Now you can, that's a little cheater move, but I want you to elicit the move from the shoulder itself. Okay? So when I step forward, if you choose to do that, when I come back, I'm dragging my toe. You might not have figured that out. Okay, so see, I'm pulling back. But here's the deal. Don't even worry about the step and the pulling back if your hands are not totally flat. If you have to concentrate on making your hands really flat, then don't worry about the stepping. Okay? Take a big breath. Through the nose, through the nose, through the nose. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
40.
Oh, there we go. See, she got us to 30. Is that 30?
40. And
Oh,
40. 0.
Well, see, we had to be balanced. Okay, bring your hands down. Now, let me point out something here. When I said make sure that your hand is flat, and I can tell you with my shoulder that gives me some challenge and that I feel stuff, this hand, unless I'm paying attention, wants to go from here, wants to go like this. See, I can do this whole thing like this and think I'm doing just great. It's not flat. That's flat. This is not. You see what I'm saying? Now, in order to do that, some of you might have to bend your elbow a little tiny bit. I say bend, I just mean soften. Okay? You got to keep your shoulders down because that's when you employ the muscles around the shoulder. Okay? It's a tricky thing. Okay, here we go. So pay attention to that. So I'm just pointing these things out because you're the one that has to check yourself, because I can't really see, I can't see you unless you, number one, want to be seen, and number two, I know I have little slugs out there and you like to take breaks, which I want you to take a break anytime you need to. See, I'm just moving. I'm just moving forward and back, keeping my chin tucked. And most importantly, as I'm moving forward and back with my bare feet, I am staying upright. How do you ensure that you stay upright? You stay rib cage up. You pretend somebody's behind you and their fingertips are sunk into your ribs. Go ahead and do it. Pull yourself up. That gives a whole different feel to this move. Because what do many of us get into? Number one, it's so easy to get into this when you walk forward, because we have structural issues in our spine that we're having our birthdays and we have to fight against that. As long as you got functioning muscles, you can manage this so much better, but you have to decide to do it, okay? So when you step forward as I'm doing, and see, I was doing my hands like this because I wanted you to not really particularly think about your step forward. But now, as you're doing this, I want you to think, am I leaning? The minute I put my foot out here, I call this caving, okay? That's what we tend to do. So I'm saying, rib cage up. Pull the rib cage up. That extends your back extensors. When you step, don't lock your leg. And see, I'm not ambulating per se. I'm doing this in place. But you can tell what you're doing on a habitual basis. And the other thing that's required when you're doing this kind of a thing is you got to pull your toe up. See, you can't just slide into this. When you're going to walk straighter, you got to pull your toe up and your knee up. That helps you to elongate or extend your back. Okay, enough on that. Take a breath. We're going to take one quick break right here. I'm going to go back to my pole. Now, some of you may just have a chair. That's okay. Maybe in your room you have a door frame. My only caution with a door frame is if you can't get your hands fully around something, like this is a pole here, right here. I think you can see it. I can get my hands fully around it and it ain't going anywhere. Okay, it's a perfect medium for this type of a move, okay? As you sit back into this move, release your shoulders, okay? You keep your shoulders down, but then you release them and you almost do kind of a rounded upper back. So I'm hanging on and I go down until I start to feel the gluteal muscles. I'm going to bring my toes up. I'm going to keep my chin tucked. Take a big deep breath. Take a big deep breath. Take a big deep breath. Hang on. Yeah. Right into the heels, right into the heels, right into the heels, right into the heels. And then come back. Big deep breath. All the way out. And come back. I'm going to do a couple of these. I'm not going all the way. I'm not sitting down really hard. I'm just pulling back gently, digging into the heels, and then I come back. Okay, that kind of a pull out is so good for your back, for your shoulders. Oh my goodness. Then I'm going to come right here to my little sit down. And those of you who struggled with the split stance, knee down and up, we're going to do it from the chair. Okay, so I'm right here at my chair. You could have a pole here if you wanted it, but I'm going to hang on to the chair and I'm going to take this knee back. Okay, and I'm just going to come right here and right here. See how that just slips right down like that? So I'm just trying to do a tutorial on moving better from standing to a chair to the floor. Okay, so I'm here. Now I'm going to push here and I'm going to sit back. See, I'm going to go like that. See that? So get really good at using a chair. Your knee is down. Take a breath and just come right down here, just like that. Now, some of you are protesting because, in fact, you're saying that's not fair because my legs are shorter than that, Jeannie, and because you're fun-sized. See, I'm not fun-sized, but you're fun-sized. So guess what? We either get a shorter chair. It has to be a stable chair. This is a stable kitchen chair. Or you have to be very careful about your lowering down. See that? Okay. Now I'm going to go back up one more time. I'm going to do the other leg. So I'm going to turn it this way so you see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm right down here. This is my hip replace side. This is my knee replace side. You can move better. You just got to practice it. So this is a safe place to practice because I know you need to take breaks and I know you need to just maybe not do some stuff. So I'm going to press into my chair and I'm coming back. See that? Then I'm going to turn and go the other way. So here I am. See my toes? Yeah, I'm going to grab my chair to the front. I'm going to ease myself off. Now this is my knee replace side. And if you have a problem, especially if you're fun-sized, you can use these. Put it under that knee. That will help you. Just a little tip. So I'm going to come right here, and I'm just going to come right off to the side. I'm going to grab this chair, put my hands there, and I'm going to push and come right into the chair. Then I'm going to push and come right off. And it's going to be different, one side versus the other. You got to figure out little tiny moves that you need to do in order to come up to the chair and down to the chair, okay? So after I've done that a couple of times, I'm gonna just lean back. I'm gonna bring one knee in and just touch my elbow. You see that? So this is a modification on a very tried and true Pilates type move for core work. But what it is not is rounding your back, okay? So I'm gonna go back first. I'm gonna bring the knee up. I can use my hand to help. Then I'm gonna turn. If I touch, great, but that's not the goal. The goal is not to touch my elbow to my knee. The goal is to lean back, put great positive pressure to kick the abdominal muscles alive, awake, put good load, and then movement. So when I lift that knee up, I'm going to stay back. I'm going to turn, and maybe I'll touch it with the help of my hand. Maybe I won't, but I won't round my back in the process. So I already have a turn going on, correct? Then I bring the other leg up, and then I think, oh, I wonder if I can touch that elbow to that knee without rounding my back. You might have to use your hand under your leg. That will be fine, but what you cannot do is round your back while you're turning and hold your breath. You can't hold your breath. So take a big breath. Do not do this move fast. You sit at the end of the chair. You drop your shoulders, take breaths. You rotate back from the hip. You bring a knee up. You turn and you say, I wonder if I can get that elbow to touch that knee. Maybe I need a little help. See that? Yes. Do it like that. Don't do it thinking, oh, the goal here is to touch my elbow to the knee. No, that is just giving you a parameter of motion. See, I'm turning. Then I'm going to bring the leg up. And then maybe I'll use my hand and bring that leg on up. Then I'll open and come forward. Let me tell you, if you get this, oh my goodness, wherever you're sitting, wherever you find yourself sitting, you just open back, turn, bring your leg up, and just kind of, you don't even have to bring your hands up or anything, just kind of do that. Then come open and come forward, okay? So, keep the back extended, open back. This is kicking, okay? Drop your shoulders, big breath. Now you're gonna turn, you're gonna exhale. Then you're gonna use your hand if possible to bring that knee on up. Then you turn back, take a breath. Ah, yes. In and out through the nose if possible. It's very hard for me to talk with my mouth closed. Oh, there's a joke there somewhere, but anyway. Okay, drop your chin. Open back, okay? This is a variation of this very move being down on the floor. Okay, so people that will just sit in a chair, open back, and just hang out here for a little bit and just do this. See this? This is a modification of what I just did. See this? This is working. Just like that. Just like you're walking. But I'm walking, extended out, getting a whole different pull through the core muscles. Then I sit up on my sit bones. Big breath. Exhale. Open back. Do it again. Drop your shoulders. Just like this. Just like this. Yes. Big breath. Through the nose. Yes, through the nose. Yeah, don't bring your knees in. They just come straight up while you're turning your upper body. Yeah, you're turning it, turning it, turning it. Take a breath. Take another breath. Take another breath. And bring it back in. Okay? I hope I'm giving you some ideas of things you can do. If you just can't seem to get yourself up, or you have some kind of an issue with feet or whatever, I'm trying to help you through moving better and helping you to get up. So I'm gonna go really wide, just like that. I'm gonna push my hand against my knee here. As I go down to the knee on this side, I keep my shoulders down, number one. Once I'm down here, as far as I can go, you should be feeling all kinds of stretches up through the groin. Yes, take a big breath, drop your shoulders. Take a big breath, drop your shoulders. Take a big breath, drop your shoulders. And you see I'm going lower and lower and lower. Then I'm gonna push on my elbow to get myself back up. Because once you've gone down there pretty far, that's a lot to ask your back to pull you up all by itself. Okay, so I'm gonna put my hand here. I'm gonna push, put my elbow here. I'm gonna come down toward this leg right here, and I'm pushing out on the knee. As I come down, I'm taking a breath, dropping, taking a breath, dropping, taking a breath, push that knee out. Take a big breath, take a big breath, push, come down lower, push, keep your chin tucked, take a big breath. Okay, release the leg, Then help yourself back up. Okay. Now I'm going to go straight out with this leg. Okay, see that? Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. Okay, pointing the toes, point, plantar. See that? Then up, dorsiflexion. Okay. So as you're doing that, pull your hand also in that kind of a flexion. Drop your shoulders, pull that toe, drop your shoulders, pull that toe, just like that. Then you're going to go into plantar. You're going to actually try to really point that toe. You're going to contract the calf and the foot in order to plant the toe. So as you're doing that, and be careful, if you go a little too hard, yeah, your calf will grab you. You don't need to worry, and just slowly bring it back out the opposite way. Drop your shoulder, take a breath. Drop your shoulder, take a breath. Drop your shoulder, take a breath. Woo, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. Now you're going to turn into the inner step with your toe. Then you're going to go out with your toe as far as you can. Don't bend your knee. Don't bend your knee. Take a big deep breath. Rotate and rotate. Inversion, eversion. In and out. Okay? So this is all very good ankle stuff, by the way. Okay, other leg. Here we go. Sitting on my chair, kind of to the end. Just slide that leg out as far as you can go. Go into dorsiflexion, as well as with the hand. Drop the hands so you're not up here. Drop it right here. Keep your chin tucked. Dorsiflexion, pull the hand, then plantar flexion. Bring it down. Yeah, just really point that toe down. Yeah, it's hard. And if you do it too hard, you're gonna feel a cramp. Just bring the foot back gently. That's all you gotta do. And the more you do this kind of a thing, the more the muscles, ligaments, and tendons get used to doing this, the less and less the cramping happens generally. Okay, point, flex. Okay, then I'm going to go turn and turn. Yeah. So those of us with hips replaced, knees replaced, etc., it's going to feel a little different. And you're like, sometimes it's going to be hard for you to identify the muscle that's supposed to be doing this, because there's a lot of muscles that got damaged in that replacement process. Okay, so you got to know this, but you still got to move, right? Still got to move. Okay, once we've done that, this next one, I'm doing this all from my chair, and then I'm watching my time. We're going to be down in the floor just for like 5 minutes. We're going to get on down on the floor. And I want you to remember, well, you don't have to remember because I'm going to do it with you. So you don't have to remember. Okay, open back, just like this. Open back. Take your dorsiflexion and your plantar flexion. See that? Dorsiflexion down, heel, come up, plantar. Dorsiflex, plantar. Okay, see what I'm doing? See the line? See the line? I'm trying to get pretty straight here. So I'm going to come dorsiflexion down, plantar flexion, come up. You don't have to come up real far, just a little, then come down and keep pushing so that your back's in extension. Okay, down. Plantar up, down, dorsiflexion, plantar up, down, dorsiflexion, plantar up. I know it. Just one more. And come down. And then come forward with a straight leg. Come forward and then come back. So you're not bending your back. You are doing all of this from your hip. Okay? Go to the other hip. here we go. Back you go. Keep your chin tucked. Take your legs straight. Heel, straight leg. I'm really open back. Then I'm going to come up and I'm going to do the plantar flex. See, toe pointed. Then the heel down. Now, as you're doing this, keep your line. This is still a little modification from being in the flow work. And we're going to try to do that in just a second. Come up, plantar flex, dorsiflex. Push your rib cage up. Woo! Take a breath. Come up. Take a breath. Come up. Take a breath. Go straight down, but don't round your back. Yeah, come way down there. Big breath, big breath, big breath. And then come up. Okay. Last move. We did 3 big moves here. Okie dokie. We did the plantar flex up. We did the extension right here. Okay. The extension of this part of your, but flexion of this part. Okay. Are you ready? We're going to bring the leg up. This is a little test. And then see, I'm using my upper body. So I've practiced this with you today. See this? I open back, tighten, bring the leg up, put your hands under it, pull it in as tight as you can, and then say rib cage up, and then sneak your leg open as far as you can in dorsiflexion. Do not round your back. Bring it in, boom, just like that. Then bend the knee, bring her down. And just see how straight you can get your leg. You're gonna feel all kinds of stretching. It's supposed to. Okay, you ready? Do the other leg. Drop your shoulders, big breath, open back. This is kicking, we already practiced that, right? Gonna bring our knee up. Gonna put our hands under. Gonna bring that knee in as tight as I can. Then I'm gonna say rib cage up. Then I'm gonna sneak my leg up there in dorsiflexion. Don't round your back. Say rib cage up. Bring that leg all the way up. See that? That tibialis anterior muscle that pulls that toe up's got to really work here. Take a big deep breath. Big deep breath, big deep breath, big deep breath. And come down and come down. Nice. Then I put my hands here. I'm going to push my hips up. And I'm just going to come right here. Just like that. See that? And I'm going to switch. And I'm going to keep my shoulders down on my hips up. And I'm going to bring my knee up. You can extend it or not. This is a little movement testing to see how you're able to work with those hips, knees that have been replaced. Okay, so you're going to rely on one. Bring that leg out. You're working all kinds of trunk mobility here. Do not let your shoulders come to your ears. Keep your shoulders down. Take a big deep breath. Through that nose, bring that hip up. Big breath. And bring her down and then come down. So you don't have to do a ton. Do as many as you can in good form. It's a locomotion is what you're trying to get to. Okay, here we are. I'm going to use my chair. I'm going to get down in the floor. I've already practiced how to do that, correct? You can go from the chair, or you can stand and get down the way that we a lot of times get down. See, I can go like this, go right to the floor, go like this, go right to the floor. Whichever one you want to do. Or I can go like this, straight down. So I'm just going to come right here. I got my chair here. See that? Then I'm gonna come down on all fours, and I'm gonna go to the side. So I've done a lot of front and a lot of back. Now we step to the side, and we did some side to side motion with our adductors and abductors, but now I'm on the floor, okay? If you have hips replaced especially, this next move is gonna really change on you. So you need to be okay with doing modifications, okay? That's number one. See, just coming up here like this and then sliding down to the elbow can be a big deal, okay, for some of us with hips and knees replaced, okay? So shoulder in, tighten your tummy, push right here. See how I'm right here like this? Yeah, just like that. I'm okay to do modification. Here's the modification of this side plank. So as I'm down here, I'm going to keep the underneath leg a little bent. And I'm going to bring the top leg up, okay? Don't be surprised if you feel this all the way into the groin, okay? Keep your shoulder down, bring this up. See that? Let's do that 1 or 2 more times. So the underneath leg is a tiny bit bent, shoulder is in, elbows down. I'm going to bring this leg right here. See that? Yeah. Then I'm going to keep the knee a little bit bent here. And all I'm going to do is press on the front hand, press on the elbow, tighten my tummy, lean in, and lift my hip. Okay? And then I'm going to release that hand there. So I'm right here on my modified elbow down. I'm out here and I'm hanging out here. And then I'm going to come down and then I'm going to come down. Okay? Keep your knees a little bit bent. The further out you go, where you do this move with just your ankles on the ground, it's very impacting on your hips. So be happy with keeping a little bit of a bend. Lean in, press into the front hand, into the elbow, and lift. And if you can bring your knees up, great. If you can't, that's okay. Keep your knees right here. And then come down. Yeah, it's gonna make you breathe because it's hard work. Yes, it is. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna go to the other side. We're just squirming around here. See, to go from this side to the other side, if I told you, if you could do that 10 times pretty much every day, just get in the floor, go from this side to the other side. See how I'm going from this side to the other side? Get used to doing that. Okay? Do it as a task. Put something on the floor. I particularly like to put Dove chocolate pieces all around. That kind of makes it a reward. Okay, so here I am. First of all, I'm going to come up and just see what my range is. So I can just tell you that when you come up here, depending on your hips and the mobility in your hips, you're going to either feel stretches big time, or you're going to feel stretches all through the side of you. Okay, keep your shoulders down. Big breath through the nose. And so if you are doing any kind of work, or if you've done any kind of work on breathing, sometimes it gets confusing. The biggest thing you have to remember is just shut your mouth. If you just shut your mouth, you're going to have to breathe through your nose. By virtue of that, you're going to start a deep breathing process. Okay? Okay, see how I've stayed up here now for that amount of time? Then I'm going to go to my elbow. See that? So know what your pathway is there. You got it? Okay, so on the get-go, what we're going to do is keep our underneath leg down. And I'm just going to take my top leg out. See that? Just like that. And I'm going to keep my toe pointed down as I'm hanging out here. Now keep your shoulder in, because it's going to want to go like this. Keep your shoulder in, and you're hanging out down here with your toe headed down if possible. And then just bring it right in. Okay? Now I'm going to press on this hand, press on this elbow, keep my shoulder in, take a breath, and I'm going to be on my knees and my elbow. Okay? So it's an up, lift the hip, and you're right out there. Take a big deep breath, big deep breath, big deep breath, big deep breath, down and down. You can push up, or you can go all the way down. Just rotate it under and go all the way down. Okay? To take a break. Okay. So I'm going to come up one more time. So again, this is my hip replace side. This is my knee replace side. This is the hip that gives me a little trouble these days, a little challenge. So I'm right here in my elbow. I'm going to use this hand, push, be on my knee, tighten my tummy, take a breath, and push my hip up. And I'm going to be right out there, hanging out here. And I'm going to bring one leg up, baby. And then I'm happy with this. See, I'm just happy with that. Take a breath, bring it in, bring it down. Okay? Come up, give your arm a break. That's a pun intended. See how I'm going back? So I'm giving a little recovery. And then I'm going to come back in and do it twice more. So I'm going to be right here with my hips in. Right here. My shoulders, my knees right stacked. I'm going to push, push, lift the hip, go out if I can. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. But I'm going to be happy if I can just go from my knees. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, bring it in and bring it in. Okay? Bring your legs right here and just go from here to here. And bring your hands over your head. Then you come here. See, it's just going side to side, like a plane dipping its wing. I'm going to go here, side to side. Bring it back. Okay? Right here, keep your shoulders down. Don't do this fast. As you're going side to side, you can turn your head over your chin, your chin over your shoulders, Chin over your shoulders, reach, and come back. Then I'm going to bring my knees under me. I'm going to be on my hands and knees. I'm going to either get up on the chair the way I did from my knee, or I'm going to go into a freestanding pull up. Drop your shoulders, take a big breath, bring your knees up, big stretch, walk into it, and come up after you've equalized a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so don't take a few steps until you've equalized. It'll throw you into the floor. Okay. If you want to move better, pull this one up.